Hey,
Hey. Ye-
kia ora, kia ora.
God, we just did our meditation. What was yours? I just
Oh
heard
my
this
goodness.
like happiness come out of you.
Well, I started with imagining a birthday cake, and all of the fireflies were sparkling off of the candles for you.
Yay.
Happy birthday.
Thank
And
you.
then the fireflies became like blessings and abundance for you, and I was sending them to you. And then they extended to your immediate family, and then they extended to all your ancestors, and then they extended to all that's going to come after you. And then I was like,
Whoa.
oh, I'll take some of that. And then I was like, okay, the rest of the world gets some too.
That's expensive. That's awesome.
You're
That,
welcome.
that's so good. Oh my goodness. I was looking at my baby
So
book
wholesome.
this morning to see what
Mm.
time I was born. And then it was so cool to see all the it was listed great grandfather, grandfather. And so I was telling the kids their names of their great great grandparents. It was
Yeah.
it was super cool. And I love just the thought of the forebears, the future. So good. So good, Rido. Ah,
Oh, it's so beautiful. I
ooh,
love that your kiddos get to know some of the names of peoples of their family tree. That's a very cool thing you're doing.
it was so cool. I When I closed my eyes for our
Mhm.
little fireflies meditation, I saw this blue sea, this deep blue sea, and this black
Mm.
sky
Mm.
filled with fireflies. It was just so yeah, feeling very good.
Ooh,
Feeling
the
very
sea.
yeah, the sea was what captured me the most. Was this dark blue sea, which I'm pretty excited. I have an idea for an artwork
Mhm,
that was inspired today when I was
mhm,
taking out the trash, and I was bringing the trash bin in, and I looked through Stella's window, and it was like the back of one of her pieces of artwork where the sun, or it wasn't maybe the sun, it was this round circle with like probably just acrylic paint kind of smushed. And
mhm.
then, the texture you get when you pull away
Yep,
the
yep,
color,
yep.
you get the, and then I thought, ooh, what if I create some really cool shapes, some really cool kind of C shapes, and I get my paint ready on something and I dip in and I do yeah, I'm just thinking a bit of a pull and dab
It's
painting.
beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm just feeling that.
I think you'll appreciate this, Keith. I listened to a little clip on the Instagram today because I'm back on Instagram celebrating one of my friend's projects. And the clip was an artist, and
Hmm.
she said, what if you considered all of the art supplies that you use for play, instead of considering that like, oh, that's an investment, oh, that's things that I'm using, you're thinking about the cost and
Hmm.
materials. What if you considered that um, a plane ticket, an adventure, a festival pass?
Ooh, that's cool.
All so who cares if it's a slip of paper or if it's canvas or if it's anything? It's not the outcome, it's the experience that you got while you made it. That's always been my jam. And to tack on to that a reimagining of what the cost to entry is for that.
Mm. Yeah, that's cool. I'm so into that right now. I'm
Mm,
so thinking about being present around craft and art. And I was on a call the other day, and somebody brought up this name of this book, which I haven't gotten yet. I want to secretly get it from Marie, unless she watches this podcast. But I'm getting it for you, Marie. It's called Craftfulness,
ooh,
and yeah, it's kind of dispelling myths around craft and what it means and what type of people do craft and crafting. So I'm super keen to get it for her, but also read it myself. And yeah, talk to the bookstore
that's
about it.
all right.
Looked at the library, but I think I'm gonna just have to get down and
Library.
order it.
All right.
Yes,
Before I
library,
talk about your social media moment, I'm going to just go back to my social media moment and
please.
say the reason I went back onto social media was to follow Gal Hochman. She's an amazing director and producer of music videos. She has a project called Beyond the Beat NZ, and you can follow it on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. And so I'm really excited to see that. I've
Yeah.
been watching behind the scenes content from her for months, and I'm so excited it's about to be released.
Oh my gosh, you're so close to it.
Beyond the Beat NZ
Beyond the
on
Beat NZ.
Instagram.
That's the one. Check it out.
Um, I love that you've come on to the socials to outpour your love of libraries.
Yes.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It's a bit surprised, wasn't it? Because I was like, yeah, we ended our call last time, and I was like, I'm not doing anything else, Rudo. And then boom, I was on the new Happy call. They're doing some new weekly calls of like stuff we can directly do in our community. And
Mm.
that last call was around libraries. And I thought, and we were talking to this librarian, and I was asking her, like, what's the biggest metric for libraries? And she said, library cards. Everybody needs a library card. And the more library cards people get in the community, the more funds they get from the government, the more funds they get from private donors. It's this really important metric. So I was like, oh, well, cool. And yeah, all the resources that we have in New Zealand, particularly around all the electronics, and in the States, they have the same stuff, tons of stuff. So libraries are awesome, and we need to
Well,
support them. Oh, wait, I have this beautiful bookmark my mom sent me, and somehow she managed to get it from America, from upstate New York, to here on my birthday, exact timing.
well,
And she ordered from Pam, the craft wizard. She made these amazing bookmarks for all of the family for all of our birthdays. And mine has a little jar with fireflies in it. It says catching fireflies. And it has at the top, it has a microphone. And then in the middle, it says the countertop of life. Now, the countertop of life is from a poem I wrote when I was a kid to my mom. And it says, though there are many digs and scars, this countertop of life is ours. And it's because our countertop at home in the trailer like has lots of have nicks and cuts and things. And I was like, I didn't care that it was all messed up as a kid. It was ours.
mm,
It's such a nice bookmark. I'm so happy with it. It's got a little typewriter at the bottom for more writing. It was just like this is like my 2025, like,
encapsulated.
yeah, calling it in, my vision board, all in a bookmark. So
Oh my
super
God.
stokedness.
Oh, that's lovely. I also really liked on the previous episode, you and Brian were talking about doing the Fireflies visualization, and then he reimagined what our title means to him. It's as like proof of magic.
Yeah.
And like the fact that Pam created a bookmark for you with fireflies in a jar, and then Brian's, telling us about the truth around these mystical bioluminescent flies. Like, why do they glow? We don't know, but it's proof of magic.
Look what I have this creation on me right here. This is made from felt. Stella made this for my birthday. It says turmeric latte fan, and it's kind of a little felt mug. And it's amazing art.
Oh,
It's
cute.
amazing art. Just the detail and the thought that goes into making it flat so it can actually be worn. She also gave me this giant mug, which is the same color.
Ooh.
And today, it's this beautiful, really like grunty, hold it in two hands mug for my lattes. I've been drinking a lot of turmeric latte. I'm surprised my teeth aren't yellow as because I've been feeling into all these spices right now. All of them. Marie's got this new latte mix with like ashwagandha and astragalus and like lacuma and yakan root, and it's good. It's like
Oh,
it's powerful
oh,
witch
I gotta
medicine.
order me some of that. I
Pa-
need to.
Powerful witch medicine. It's so good. So I'm drinking it, but before I'm gonna drink it, this mug that she gave me had homemade chocolate chip cookies that she baked for me yesterday. A whole mug of cookies. I
Oh,
was like, the birthday just kept on getting layer it up, and made me a necklace, beautiful cards from both of the kids. And Marie bought me my RC car. I got my own RC car. Woo-hoo!
oh,
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
I'm very
you,
excited.
you and the kiddos are gonna be such menaces.
Yes. No, I'm very excited about my toy. Um, it's really funny. I haven't wanted a toy for
Mhm.
so long, but this toy, uh, at 46, I really wanted this toy, and I told the kids that they can, if they have friends over, their friends can use the third car. I said it's open for
True.
public usage
Oh, that's very
because
kind of you.
and a amazing apple crumble with vanilla ice cream is happening tonight. That's what I
Oh
wanted for
my
I
God.
really wanted to make a cake, I think, but I just have this desire for apple crumble with lots of ice cream. I can't get over it. So
This is amazing.
sorry, I'm very excited about all this food.
I like how easy you are.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, my darling. You deserve all the love that you get.
Thank you. Feeling loved.
Mm-hmm.
I got a meeting tomorrow to speak with Stephanie to continue the conversation about my play, New Happy. Continue to move the needle on that there project, which is going to happen. I've been writing the stories. So instead of writing a play right now, I'm focused on just writing stories, and then they will become the play.
Got stories. This is the
Stories.
power. This is what we crave as humans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, we did it. That's it. No, no, sorry.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, see ya. Okay, we can keep on going.
What else
That's
do we
great.
do in this show?
Oh, man.
General life updates. I have a painting in the background that is part of my series for the year that's called Iconic. They're all reimaginings of famous things. So that's the birth of Venus on a very abstract background. And I'm just trying to decide if she's going to be blue or orange or what. And then I'm going to start adding some mathematic
Whoa.
line work on top of it to kind of be an homage to the marriage of science and nature, mathematics.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
Mm.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that's cool. Yes, I can see it now. Oh my gosh, that's cool.
I was wondering why you hadn't said anything about it
Oh
before.
my gosh, that's so rad. Oh, you got
Thank
to
you.
check the YouTube channel. This is awesome. That's a real rad painting, Rudo.
Thank
So I was
you.
absolutely blown away by Lady Liberty, by the way.
Thanks.
She's gigantic and just a
She's
wild, massive piece of
looming
work.
in the background somewhere. Oh,
Yeah.
there she
Oh,
is.
look at that. Go on YouTube right now. This should be like
Not done. Not done
oh,
yet,
no
but
way.
it's been fun to process all of the things while painting. I just really love the episode that you and Brian did last week. What you all talked about in terms of the subconscious, there are things that are so familiar. It's like as familiar as the Statue of Liberty. But there are just some things that are so imprinted onto our psyches, which is the subconscious.
Hmm.
We reimagine and pay homage to things. I mean, songs are remastered all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I like the idea of playing with something very familiar because usually my personality is like not interested in pop
Yeah.
culture. I think it's good for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good challenge.
Yes. And some stories need to be rewritten, which,
Yeah.
is cool as well. Like stories that have been retold. Like I remember the first time I came across a childhood story that had been rewritten. It was the Three Little Pigs. The wolf got to explain his version of the story, and the pigs were actually assholes. And it was the wolf who was just trying to help. He's a builder. He's like, nah, your house is shit. Let me help.
That's awesome. Ever since that episode, thinking about dream analysis
Mm.
on daily, thinking about the dreams. And then M comes out this morning with this massive dream. They said, I went to sleep. They come out of their door right from when they woke up. That I went to sleep and started this dream, and it lasted the whole night until just now when I woke up. I was just really annoyed by this thing that just went on this whole epic adventure. I'm like, wow.
I've
And
been there.
super cool about this dream is there was this gigantic squid, right? And this
Mhm.
gigantic squid is like collecting things up from like capturing little creatures and bringing them in. But what's cool
Whoa.
about it is where it was storing the creatures and capturing them, there was a back door. And I just love the subconscious symbolism of this safety net that M realized in their subconscious, which is I'm analyzing the stream. There's a back door here that even though sometimes there might be things that feel dangerous, there's a safe place and a safe way out of those dangerous spots. And it was super cool to listen to their dream and
That's so
analyzing
cool.
my dreams throughout the week. It's been really fun.
Oh my God, I remember being little and having a dream and being like, I just aged 1,000 years. I lived a whole lifetime in my dream.
Just like,
I'm tired.
just gonna say it's exhausting.
So exhausting. I've been there.
So the the question is, what does Rudo and Keith think about managing overwhelm and anxiety?
Hmm.
Yep, yep. Cool.
So I think for me, I wanted to talk about external sources of anxiety and then internal sources of anxiety. When I am familiar with the feeling of calm, it shifts everything. And I just hope that there's like a chemical cascading of things that if someone's around a calm person, it helps. But I start with what does it feel like to be in a calmer state that I am? And if I'm distressed emotionally, I try to hug myself, try to give my heart a hug. And if I'm stressed out physically, then I just concentrate on breathing. And that does seem to work. So I think I first go for the physical remembering of what calm and stillness can be like. And I start there. That's my first principles.
I love that.
And I'll go on to talk about internal and external, but I thought maybe what's like a first principle for you in dealing with anxiety and worry?
So I know that when I'm really feeling centered and calm, that definitely changes how people respond to me. I only have control, true control over one person in any given situation, and that's me. And
Mm.
I do take responsibility for that ability to be calm. So I feel really responsible when it comes to me and how I choose to take on a situation and be affected by it or not affected by it. And
You can peel that layer back even more. When you said take responsibility, I thought of all the times when you're telling yourself a story, why you're so upset that the world is the way that it is, or I'm disappointed that this isn't, you know, the way that I want it to be. And I immediately think, how much of the scenario is based on what you've architected or not put in, or something's happening to me, either reframing why you got to where you are, reframing your circumstances, or reframing what you're going to do about it.
mm, I think there's a lot on responsibility.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there's so much.
And it's so delicate, right? Because there are some things that happen to people that are completely out of their control.
Oh, 100%. I'm just thinking of the like Sadhguru's idea of responsibility. He talks about this response ability. So breaking it into the two words, the response and the ability for all things. I do enjoy the thoughts around being responsible and taking control of my own thoughts and emotions and how I'm feeling. And if I'm feeling stressed, knowing the things that I can do to regulate that, which is having a really good place to go to in my mind, thought wise. What and the other one, actually number one on the list, is really the classic observation, being the being the observer.
Yes.
Just doing the act of observing is so good. You don't even, for me, I don't even have to go someplace else. I can actually just be an observer of the situation, give myself grace if I am responding in a way that I don't feel is uh, helpful, and get myself slowly back into alignment in the moment by being observant, just watching.
Mm.
I don't need, there's no perfect here. So,
I think there's something that I wanted to say about the difference between external and internal when it comes to overwhelm.
okay, cool.
An external source for many, many people for overwhelm is news feed and social media feed. There's this wonderful newscaster in New Zealand called Johan Cassanander, and he talks about being really careful with the way that you consume news, being aware that 95% of the media that's being created has a clickbait title and a inflammatory response. So if you combine those two, then you're constantly in a state of overwhelm by just reading headlines. And he said that one thing that he does for himself to manage his overwhelm is picking a particular topic that he really wants to explore for the year and kind of just light touch on other bits of the news. So like he spent a whole year learning about environmental sustainability tech. If I'm in a state of overwhelm, I'm not going to pick up just my news app. I'm going to think about what is it that I want to actually know about what's happening in the world? Or do I want a day of news free? So being really aware of how much the external world piles on a level of overwhelm. And no, the world is not going to stop. Your world is not going to stop if you take a day off or a month off from the news.
100%.
And then the internal overwhelm, I think you and I talk about all the time, which is the who do I need to be? Who should I be? What should I be doing? What is success? How do I become the kind of person that I will respect? How do I make my family proud that I'm in their life? What the world is depending on me for things, and it's full of shoulds. But for the most part, you're accomplishing the human beingness of you. Every single day, you're showing up and being present. End. Period.
Full stop.
You're cultivating your relationships. You're deepening your connections. You're exploring other people's worldviews. All of these things are part of like,
Creativity.
this is what we're here to do, and you're doing it. So there's no shoulds.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway for me right there. It's just if you hear yourself saying, I should be this, I should do that, I should have, that is shoulding. And as
Yeah.
we said in previous episodes, where I was saying I don't want to should all over myself, is a really good reminder. Just that one little word, if you can catch out that is a great place to start catching yourself and going, wait a second, no, I am complete, 100%.
Yeah.
And that takes practice. That's all.
Yeah.
One,
And being cognizant of the internal.
mm,
Go ahead.
no, the one thing I was going to say was just I was going to sliding into the anxiety thing.
Yes.
And where I'm sliding into anxiety is through my own experience of work, and certain things give me anxiety and not the things you might suspect. I can feel anxiety while I'm working on the computer and I need to go and find a file. I kind of know where the file is. There is a file structure, but I swear I get this interesting level of anxiety. My blood pressure rises when I need to go out and find this file. And I'll honestly, in the past, I've done many other things besides go and find the file to help distract me from finding the file. And so what I was actually experiencing today, because I was doing a whole bunch of tasks which in the past have given me a lot of anxiety, and now being observant of it and doing it in repetition and with grace and with a deep breath if I need one, but just being okay with the discomfort. And here's the trick for me. The first time, really uncomfortable. Like, okay, I'm very uncomfortable finding the file. I'm going to, but then I do it again and it's little bit less uncomfortable. And so for me, it's that repetition going, yep, it's uncomfortable. No, I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to lean into the discomfort. And I trust that by leaning into the discomfort, I'm going to reorganize the neural pathways in my brain to realize this actually isn't a big deal. And I can do
Nice.
it. Absolutely. My gift takeaway here for this subject is the opportunity be present with your anxiety and your overwhelm. If you're feeling it, feel it. If you want to get creative, get a pencil, get a paper, draw a big circle. What things are in my control in this situation, in the circle? What things are out of my control in this situation, outside of the circle?
When you talked about facing it and feeling it, I thought of this beautiful book that I read that talks about these things as little monsters, and she drew out little monsters and said, "And what would it look like if you invited your fear to tea?" And so she drew all of these little creatures, and she like had this beautiful table and these beautiful cups and these beautiful snacks, and said, "Can we just sit and have tea?" And what would it look like if you invited your rejection for coffee and you just sat with each other?
Yeah, I love that. I was just like sitting at that little table in my mind going, what does my shame look like? What does shame look like? What does that character look like? That's a fun little
What would you
table.
feed it?
Ooh, what would you feed the shame? Oh, that's
Instead
even,
of you,
yeah, that's interesting.
don't let it eat you. Give it something
No,
else to
yeah, I'd
eat.
be giving it, hey, it's carrots and hummus. We're giving you some good
Nice.
healthy food here.
Shame
Uh,
probably needs some
the
vegetables.
same need some vegetables and leafy greens. That's right. Here's a wheatgrass shot. Next. Yeah. So,
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
should we dive into a question? Do you have a question for me, Rudo?
Hey, we have time for a question.
Just
One
one
question.
question.
And I would like to think about a book that has really impacted you and why.
Okay. Well, one book that really impacted me was Tiki Tiki Tempo no Sarempo Charabuchi Pikperi Pempo. And that's just because the little boy named Tiki Tiki Tempo no Sarempo Charabuchi Pikperi Pempo had an amazing name. I think his brother's name was
Yeah.
like Ben or something. But that's not the book I'm going to talk about, depression. And it was a book about owning one's depression. I think the author called it verbing. So I had a choice where I could choose to depress. So the internal dialogue went from I'm feeling depressed, something that's happening to me, to I'm depressing. I am going to now go to sleep and wake up feeling differently. And it was this real choice of depressing, going, I'm owning my depression. It is something that I control. And I know that for everybody, feeling depressed doesn't feel like something that one can take control over. However, by just simply changing the language around it helped me control my own internal mental health around
Mm.
depression and being depressed and feeling it's something's happening to me,
Mm.
to, as the author said, verbing and going, I'm going to depress right now.
It's you
And
and your actions against depression.
yeah,
I love it.
so yeah, that was that. I think that book, and then probably the first self-help book I picked up, which was like Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. But it was just the act of picking up a book and trying to learn about myself, which was the important part. It wasn't the book itself.
No, but it
Although
seems like
that,
this is a really big part of your journey,
yeah,
is like your path to self-awareness.
100%. I mean, it started I think I was 13 when I picked up that book by Gray, something, but
Mm.
very famous book. In that book, the author talked love tanks and filling up one's love tanks. And I started to really understand
Mm.
around balance and things throughout a lifetime, and where certain love tanks are need to be filled a bit more and a bit less. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say to that question. And it's such a
Gorgeous.
good question. Can I ask you the same,
I
please?
suppose.
Whoa, thank you.
So there is a woman called Sina Jedder Nazlud, and she wrote a book called Ahab's Wife. It's a fictional book, but it picks up from another fictional classic that many people know. You might know Moby Dick by Herman
Mm.
Melville. So Sina Jedder Nazlud, I believe Una came to her in a dream, or perhaps she just thought of it one day, but there is a moment in Moby Dick where Ahab talks about the young wife who's waiting for him in Nantucket.
Mm.
And, he eventually dies at sea chasing the whale. And Nazlud creates this story, Ahab's wife, and the very opening sentence of the book is, Ahab was not my first husband, nor was he my last.
Mm.
And the entire book explores this incredible character, Una, and her origins in Kentucky, and then up to a lighthouse in Maine and into Nantucket. It covers a really pivotal point in American history, abolition, and it's just this phenomenal writing, phenomenal character, phenomenal moment in time, woven in with the kind of mythos that a lot of us know because of Moby Dick. And it's just, the book was so potent for me because I'm a poet and I want things to grab me by the heart and to twist. I need that. And this book did that for me at a time when I needed saving from my own suffering.
Mm.
And I would read the book over and over again. I would read it in the bath with lavender oils. And so like the smell of lavender oil and being in the bath and reading this book has like a deep association with like,
Mm.
these are the things that save you from yourself. And I get to meet her at a Kentucky Women's Writers Conference, and I got to kind of tell her about
Wow.
her changing my life, which never would have expected. But it's just one of those books that I'm like, do you read fiction? Do you like very, very powerful books about brave women? Read Ahab's Wife. It will change your life, if only for a moment, but it's a big one.
That's incredible.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm excited to share Moby Dick and Ahab's Wife with Stella. By the way, my 12-year-old got onto Spotify and looked us up and listened to some of our podcasts. Isn't that so
Oh,
cool?
that
Isn't that so cool? She's like,
that's
she
really
goes, I
cool.
skipped through a lot of it, but I was listening to bits. And I was like, hey, you do whatever you want. That's so cool.
I mean, it's just like hanging out with us at the dinner table.
Oh,
You
yes.
tune in and you tune
You
out.
tune
I
it
mean,
out.
hello.
Oh, thank you, Rudo, for this birthday episode. I feel so lucky to spend time with you.
Oh my goodness. And an abundant amount of fireflies in your life and for all that comes to your progeny.
Thanks.
Happy birthday, my love.
Thank you so much. See you later, everyone. Take care. Love you.